Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Shots Fired podcast. It's your boy Big Joe.
I'm your boy Too True.
And we come to you this week with a, variety of topics. Of course, we're going to start off with our WTF moment of the week. But what we really want to get into this week is a bit of a recap from last week's game over the Eagles, and just kind of get an overall idea as to what the state of the Dallas Cowboys is heading into the bye week. What we're looking like injury-wise, what we're looking like personnel-wise, what we're looking like in the division, things like that. And before we get into that, we actually want to talk about the Eagles. That is our main competition in the division, and what we're realizing now is with the division playing out how it is, if you don't win this division, you're not making the playoffs. There's a lot of good teams out there with way better records than anybody in our division has, so it's very important that we keep an eye on Philly throughout the year. Just to make sure that we make the playoffs, man.
I don't think Philadelphia, I don't think it's going to go very far with all the stuff that's going on in their locker room, head coach making comments, injuries, players getting cut, the quarterback and his play, and the defense, and them basically not showing up to football games. I do think with Cowboys and the Eagles, it's always going to be a dogfight. Like you said, they are the number one competition for us in the division. But honestly, I just see the Eagles falling apart.
Yeah,
I see them falling apart.
And we'll definitely touch on that. In this week's episode, we're going to touch on that and just kind of, set the record straight on some things. And we learned a lot with Orlando Scandrick's interview.
Yeah, he got some insight.
Yeah, so a former Dallas Cowboy, kind of behind enemy lines, giving us the inside scoop. So look forward to that. We hope you stick with us. But first, before we continue on, this week's WTF moment of the week is going to Ohio University's rugby team. When you go to college, man, you think about joining a fraternity. You think about sports, the brotherhood, and as long as that's been around, you watch Animal House and things like that, Revenge of the Nerds, all those movies. What's the one thing they always had in there? They had that hazing. That's part of it. The hazing. Ohio's rugby team is under fire right now for some alleged activity that's been going on. What they're saying is, you want to be a part of the rugby team? We're going to need you to slam some Mad Dog, run around naked, chug a beer, and then tag a car with your balls. Now, I don't know why you'd have to put your balls on a car as part of being on the rugby team, or who decided, hey, you know what, as part of the initiation, we should have these guys slapping their junk on somebody's vehicle. But that's one of the ways to, that's part of the initiation there.
I know I don't want to be initiated. I don't want no parts of that.
At all, man. At all. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, I've heard of some crazy hazing, some crazy stuff that goes on the college campus, but chugging beer and putting your nutsack on cars and dead smack in the fall when you know it's cold as hell up there.
It's definitely, and in Ohio, I think it's cooler than it is here in Texas.
Absolutely. I mean, I just think, man, they're out of control. They are doing the most.
That's way aggressive, man.
Like, what are you looking to? What does this tell you about the men that you're making do this?
Like, you're slapping your dong on somebody's car, dude. Like, imagine you go outside, you're about to get in your car. Maybe you haven't washed it in a couple of days. It's got a little dirt on it, and you just see like a
meat print.
Yeah, some kind of like D print right there on your vehicle. That's gotta suck.
Hey, I know this. Each one of those guys that did it, they're gonna have erectile dysfunction. They turn 25.
Man, I'm telling you, bro, that's absolutely absurd. The school has actually taken action against the rugby team. They said they ordered a cease and desist from all organizational activities, which means they're not allowed to operate, basically. It says the allegations against the fraternities are pretty bad. One complaint said a fraternity made blindfolded pledges sit in the basement while listening to the same song on repeat for hours. Another allegation says Tau Delta, I guess it is, forced pledges to carry pieces of fruit on their bodies at all times. Yeah, I mean, like and if somebody in the fraternity saw it and they knocked it out off of their body for whatever reason, they had to replace it with a larger piece of fruit.
Grapefruit.
Progressing up to the size of a watermelon. Like, that's what...
I mean, this is absurd. Like, what are you accomplishing by making people do this? I don't get it.
I don't either, bro. It doesn't make sense to me. I was never in a fraternity, though, so
yeah, me neither.
I can't speak to it, but I don't see myself wanting to do any of this crap to be part of a fraternity.
I mean, I don't foresee... Man, I don't get it, period.
Like, I never understood it.
What are you really accomplishing by making someone put their meat print on a dusty vehicle in 35-degree weather?
Well, I guess you got to do the other stuff first. I mean, you got to slam some Mad Dog and chug a beer. That'll kind of get you loose.
Oh, yeah, they're getting lit first.
Yeah, so, you know, man, I get it. It's all fun. There's some things that are taken too far. This, to me, it's not necessarily dangerous, but it's stupid.
Outright dumb.
But, I mean, if you're willing to do it, hey, more power to you, man. If you like putting your...
See, Alice is waiting for you.
Yeah, if you like putting your ween on somebody's vehicle, do what you do, man. As for me, you know where I stand. And for this reason, T and I have decided to give Ohio University this week's
What the
Moment of the Week. Stick around, we'll be back.